What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 55 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller. Looking damn fine in that shirt.
Oh,
Look at my little smurf
Let
face.
Toast Tim host.
Let Toast.
Let Toast.
Let Toast Tim
What
shirt.
are you doing?
Just use this rag and wipe my phone down with the water. I just poured it on the table, if that's all right with you.
It's okay. It's just it's a weird move even for you.
Is
all
that a
of a sudden.
microfiber cloth that you wet? You're a weird person, Colin.
This is what gave it away?
This is it. This moment right here. I mean, because I would never think you would do this because you're so sensitive about your microfiber cloths.
Why wouldn't I put water on?
I don't know.
The water's not gonna do
I don't know. You're weird. You don't know where that water's been. This fucking smart water. Is it smart water or did you refill that shit?
Oh, he's been refilling
Yes,
times.
that's a
no,
classic, classic Colin move.
Well, because, you know, I usually refill like the Arrowhead bottles, which are fine. But when you go to the airport, and I've been on an airplane 14 times in 5 weeks. It's true, 14 times. I get the fine water bottles, the smart water bottles.
I love
Napa
smart water.
Farms.
Or Napa Farms. And these bottles have a lot of
Size
girth
to them, and they're quality bottles, man.
So I can use
They
this
got the
bottle.
little fishy? You got the fishy in there? No, you got some other shit. It's a monkey. Why the fuck's there a monkey in the water?
Monkeys
Collect them
drown-
all.
Monkeys drowning.
Monkey think, monkey do is what it says.
He's a monkey and he's drowning slowly.
Drowning?
Off
Drowning,
the
yeah.
course enough. Headed
I hate
away.
Arrowhead.
Really?
I hate Arrowhead with a fucking passion.
It's all just bottled water.
No, not Arrowhead.
Except Fiji. Fiji's the shit.
I don't like Fiji
Fuck
either.
you.
But
You have
Arrowhead
no
is the
taste
real
in water.
nasty, nasty shit. I just can't even handle it. Smart water's good. Dasani's
Smart
good.
water's good. Dasani's good, yeah.
All the Safeway
Dasani-
and whatever brands, those are great. Those are just fucking-
Dasani,
It's McDonald's water.
yeah, it has
Dasani
a little
is the Coke
when
water.
you open it. I don't like
It's that
that.
good.
No.
I love Dasani.
Yeah, it is Coke water.
But yeah, Arrowhead sucks. I don't like you. Because
Well,
you
you
like
don't like you.
I want Poland Springs, but we can't get that here.
Moulin Springs.
the fuck's happening?
Things are falling over there.
101 Dalmatians vinyl. This house is a fucking disaster.
It just like fell out of a hole in the wall.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The goat comes out.
this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast where every week we talk about video games and bottled water. I hope you enjoy all of that. If you do, you should go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. You can get this beautiful show early for all you big, beautiful kids out there. If you don't want to do that, you could just go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Subscribe there. Or go to itunes.com/kindoffunny. Subscribe there. And things will just be given to you for free. Like you're a poor person. How does that make you feel?
Damn,
I'm a
Tim's-
poor person too.
Yeah, you are a poor
I'm
person.
telling you right now, this one's not worth $1.
No,
I'm taking it back. Yeah.
What are you talking about? See,
I
this
don't
is what I'm
know,
talking
being
about.
mean, being mean, you know,
You got
calling
this.
people poor.
You got this 5 o'clock shadow, and I said
I
it was
do.
like you're
I'm
evil
back.
Tim, and you're
Yeah.
evil Tim. This is evil Tim
I
mode.
saw myself in the mirror last night, and I was like, holy shit, that's a lie. It was a selfie. But I saw myself in my selfie, and I was like, oh, this is the Tim I know and love. Like, I'm back.
You're not back there. You're in the weird
It's getting
evil
there.
period.
No, well, it's
period.
getting-
You've
no, but
never
I'm
been
not-
this mean to people.
This has been this was my modus operandi. Is that how you say that? What the fuck is falling? Kevin.
Superman 3 vinyl.
The vinyls we were given a long, long time ago.
So much shit's falling. I didn't even know that hole was there.
It's not a hole. They were just leaning
Don't you love
behind
it
the
when you
TV.
find new holes? Anyways, we're talking about
This
video
is,
games.
see, this is what I'm talking about. This is Tim on another level. This in between beard Tim.
I like it.
Leave your comments down below on what you think about Evil Tim. We're talking about the Nintendo NX. Throw
X
it
gonna
up.
give it to you.
So there's been a lot of rumors lately, and Colin, you brought this to my attention that we haven't talked about it formally. I feel like we talk about NX so much. I was saying, oh, we should hold off on it, but then I thought about it. I'm like, it's actually been quite a while since we really kind of delved deep into.
Yeah, well, there are
this
significant
thing.
new rumors.
And there's a bunch of shit. I looked at a couple articles, and I'm going to read them to you guys. And
Thank
then
you.
We'll discuss them.
Story time, everybody.
If you guys are familiar with Colin and Greg Live, I'm going to do my best Colin impression. That's not true. I'm just going to read. That's
Read aloud like anyone else reads.
All right. Alex Osborne over at IGN says, a pair of Nintendo NX related reports have surfaced offering a handful of potential clues as to what the company has planned for its next console. According to a post on Twitter by the Wall Street Journal reporter Takashi something, Nintendo's next console may work with other devices, including PCs, smartphones, and most interestingly, other consoles like PlayStation 4.
Hells to the yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at the document, it actually also says Xbox One, but that's okay. Additionally, an apparent survey from GFK, a client of Nintendo, has surfaced online by way of Twitter user Liam Robertson, providing new details about Nintendo NX. In addition to mentioning connectivity between a handheld and console unit, the survey also highlights an achievement-based system, 4K/60 FPS video streaming, and, quote, gameplay graphics that run in 900p at 60 FPS. According to the rest of the survey, provided by Twitter user Emily Rogers, Nintendo's console may have a free online service as well as a subscription option that includes more features for a yearly/monthly fee. Backwards compatibility is also mentioned as the survey gauges interest in the ability to rent or purchase old games digitally, as well as support for previously owned digital and physical media. The second part of the survey also mentions a subscription-based game service that offers access to a library of over 150 titles that are changed regularly, with new games added to the catalog 6 to 18 months after their release. The remainder of the survey compares various price options, hard drive configurations, and more across an array of different game platforms, including NX, Xbox One, PS4, and other stuff. Yeah. There was also rumors, people were talking about there being an event before E3 that kind of announces the system.
100% agree with.
And like blows that out, and then E3 is the real, like, you know, let's look at the games. And then there's also rumors, not rumors, there was interviews where people were talking about Metroid Prime, and they're like, is Metroid Prime going to come to Wii U? Because there was going to be a big Wii U game announced, or not big, but a core Wii U game announced. And people are like, is it finally going to be Metroid? And they're like, nah. If a Metroid Prime was to be made, it would take 3 to 4 years to be made, and it would be for the NX. So,
because as Reggie said, we know what you want. We know what you want. We know what kind of Metroid
Prime
game you want. We're not ready to give it to you yet, but X will give it to you. He didn't say that part.
But he was thinking it, though.
Yeah,
they're waiting for E3 for that.
Yeah.
They'll do the little event first, and then at E3, DMX is going to come out.
DMX, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just on the Nintendo Direct. So what do you guys think about this?
There's so much of it I want to believe, so much of it I don't believe, and all these different things. It's a survey. Surveys all the time are red herrings, this, that, and the other. It was interesting to see how far these rumors made it based on just a survey. You know what I mean? We didn't talk about it. There was a rumor going around of possibly having the handheld version of the handheld component of the NX out this fall, and then the console component out next year sometime, which would be so stupid, and you hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I hope it does, just because it'd be funny.
No.
That they would actually do that. But I want them to succeed, so I hope they
you
do.
don't want that. Exactly. We're Team NX here.
The connectivity between the PC makes sense. You know what I mean? We've seen that before with the consoles communicating with PCs and doing that. The console to console connection is interesting. I don't know what the hell that would be. If it's just reading, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Because it's not like you're linking them up. Like, you know, Windows makes it so easy to link up all these different devices and see other computers on this network and da-da-da. If it's something like that, but I don't know what you're using it for then.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part that makes the least sense to me, because I can't even wrap my head around what that could mean. Because right now, yeah, you can, you know, look up Nintendo account stuff on your PS4. Does that count? Like, where's the line drawn of connectivity and what that actually means? And I think what would be insane is if this Nintendo service was available on other systems.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what they're semi hinting at here. But again, it is just a survey, so who knows what that means. That'd be a huge success for Nintendo, you know, to be able to have the NX service on these real consoles.
Hell yeah, that'd be amazing.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, that would make NX succeed enough for me to make NX I Love You XOXO a weekly podcast. That'd be amazing, where I get to talk about Nintendo.
That'd be
stuff.
awesome if you did just call it that.
It would be great. What do you think, Colin? Like, what do you think the connectivity between the things could be?
I don't know. When I saw that, I agree that, you know, this is weird, based on, you know, it's not all. First of all, it's not all based on survey information. There are people that are very trusted. Emily Rogers, for instance, is a super trusted Nintendo source. So like, people that are talking about this are talking about it from, I think, a place of a little bit more. I don't want to say like insider information necessarily. Like, it's similar to how like Greg and I know a lot of things are true that we can't talk about, but sometimes we talk like more confidently about the things that could happen because we know they're true. So like, I wonder if there's something to that when someone from Wall Street Journal is talking about his connections, telling him this, and the other thing, and then there's the survey, and then Emily Rogers, who you said Emily Rogers was one of the people you brought up, right? Who has broken many things about Nintendo in the past. So I just wonder like how far some of these rumors actually go. To me, when I first heard the PS4 thing, I'm like, that's really brilliant. It's basically like middleware almost between the eShop and like these platforms, and maybe even PlayStation and Microsoft announced that they'll run this sort of Nintendo
It'll be
program.
an app. It'll be an app you can
But
get.
I don't think that's what it is. I think at the very least what it probably is something like what Rocket League does, which is talks to PC and PS4 at the same time. And I'm wondering if like they just have all this information saying like we're not going to close the console off to communicating with other consoles, but you still have to play the NX itself to play NX games or whatever, because I just don't see that they're going to, because if what they're saying is true, then it's basically just them just going third party, and what the hell is NX at all? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's basically just like EA Access or something like that, where you have like this subscription model. So I just I was excited to see more information about NX, but then I was disappointed because I'm like, this just makes it even more convoluted. Like the
waters are even muddy.
Like I just don't know like what all this means, but I do think that some of it, or maybe even all of it, is true in some sense. We just don't know like to the degree of like how true it is, because you can say like EA has a subscription thing on Xbox One. The NX could just be a similar thing again, having that on its own console, and maybe it has a game like Rocket League that will just talk to the other consoles too.
Yeah.
Instead of really closing themselves off, because Nintendo obviously always has this very closed off ecosystem. So I think that like we could either be reading way too much into it, or we might not be reading enough into it.
Yeah. Well, something that I think is interesting is the fact that they say that new games will be added to the catalog 6 to 18 months after their release. So a possible option would be that the old games, the Mario original trilogy on NES and like Super Nintendo games and N64 games, whatever, those could be subscription service playable to everybody. But the point of having the NX is kind of like our Patreon model, where if you want it early, if you want to play the new game when it comes out, you need the NX.
Right.
But if you wait 18 months or whatever, then you can get it in other
Yeah,
places.
that idea is like suicidal though. I hope that that's not what it is, because if it's the Tomb Raider effect, right? Like Tomb Raider didn't really seem to push any Xbox Ones, and it didn't sell very well because people are excited to play it, but the reason Square and Microsoft wanted to keep it quiet that it was coming to PS4 is because like no one, like if you just have to wait a year to play Tomb Raider and you have all these other games to keep you distracted, are you going to need the hardware at all? So if Mario Galaxy 3 comes out or whatever, and it's on NX and you have to wait a year to play it on PS4 through some sort of subscription service, how many people are just going to be like, all right, well, I'll
See,
wait.
I think the easier way to go would be that the NX is what we're talking about, this app, right? Let's say that gets on Xbox One, PS4, or whatever, would be everything backwards, right? Where yeah, you're getting windowed content. Maybe it's even like PlayStation Plus in a way, right? Where it's like, let's say you have the NX and there's the NX console and this, I'm just gonna call it the NX app, right? The NX app could give you on PlayStation and Xbox a random selection that you're subscribed to, and so for like 3 months, right, all these Nintendo games are on there, but then at the 3-month mark, they go away unless you're playing on NX, right? And I'm talking about old stuff, classic games, SNES.
Well, that's kind of what it
NES
said
and
here. It said
Yeah.
that they're going to cycle through the games and stuff.
And
So
that-
that
but
totally
what I'm
makes
saying
sense.
is that's only old stuff. Like you're not going to see Metroid Prime NX for console game ever over here on any part of this.
Well, so that's the thing when it says with new games added to the catalog 6 to 18 months after their release implies that it is new games. Like I don't think that means new old games,
But
because that says 150 titles that are changed regularly with new games added to the catalog 6 to 18 months after.
but that's I mean,
I read that.
I think you can
as
get it as the
regular,
catalog.
meaning weekly, monthly. It's changed out, and then the new games are added way later. You know.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's exciting because if it is what it sounds like it could be, then this is Nintendo. This is a truly radically different Nintendo. But you have to. But if it is what it seems like it's going to be, then why are they making hardware at all? So it's. I still think that they're talking about like the game's running in 900p. Like the system is that weak. That's like the one thing. That's the one thing that and I'm not one of these resolution people. I don't give a fuck. Like it's fine. I don't care. It can look like an NES game. Is it fun? That's really all that matters. But when I heard that, I'm like, Jesus. Like my conjecture, although kind of radical, considering Nintendo's consoles have always been kind of weak compared to some of their contemporaries for the most part. I thought that they would be smarter. Than doing something like that, because this sounds like a system that's actually quite weak.
We talked about this on Colin and Greg Live, and that was a sticking point for me too. But the thing to keep in mind is that this being a survey, that's such a random number, 900p at 60 FPS. There's no way that that's just the standard, that everything is going to be 60 frames per second and 900 FPS. You look at Wii U, and so many games are 900 FPS now, or 900p, and then there is ones that are 1080p. Some are 60, some are 30, whatever. So it's like it's weird that they even call that out, especially when they call out video at 4K 60 FPS video streaming. Like that just means like not everything's going to be that.
Yeah,
know?
it just seems like that might be the standard. I mean, that was the huge problem with Xbox One, which is that it seemed like it was having a hard time running games at 60 frames at 1080p. So you have to scale back the resolution to get the games running at a solid frame rate. Nintendo might just be trying to hit a benchmark for all the games, but I don't really know, because that shit, I just don't even care, because that's like that's not important to me. It just tells me that why would they say that if that wasn't going to be some sort of important
I mean, it
feature?
is weird, and it's also weird that they call it gameplay graphics that run at 900p. Like it's that whole sentence to me reads as like there's something that we don't understand about that, because that's weird. There's no reason that 900p would be like, well, we couldn't make it 1080, so we're just gonna 900. That's what we're just gonna say.
Yep.
Unless they're owning that. They're like, we're not getting 1080, and it's gonna be like the Xbox thing, but Xbox kind of made it sound like it was. So there was always those shifty things, but at least if Nintendo comes out and it's just like, it is what it is. That's what you're getting.
There's just a lot of questions beyond just the technical ramifications of what they're doing in terms of if there is a subscription service and it does run on these consoles, which remains to be seen if that's what they really mean. I just don't know if that's what they really mean.
It can't be.
If that's the case,
It just doesn't make. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. And so I want to be clear about that I don't know if that's what that's the part that's most dubious. But if that's the case, then like what is the play? Are there achievements and trophies on these games? How much does it cost?
But they said there's an achievement system.
That I know, endemic to Nintendo. But if they're going to put something on PS4, then their achievement system's not going to work. And I'm sure and Sony's not going to let Mario Galaxy be played and you're going to earn Nintendo achievements, but not trophies. Like that's just, they even did that to their PS2 games to like unify everything. There's just a lot of weird questions, which is why I think that's not what they mean.
Yeah, I'd love to be at Nintendo right now watching them react to these rumors. This stuff leaks. And it's just like, why did you put out this survey? Why would you say that? Why would you phrase it this way? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And their partners.
Yeah, but I mean, if the other exciting thing is that if it is what they mean, and they are going to have some sort of Nintendo subscription service that just plays old games on the other consoles, which I think would be shrewd,
That'd be
but
awesome.
maybe shrewd, but maybe not, depending on the reality of how long people want to wait and what games are on this on their subscription service. Then you have to wonder like what kind of conversations they had with the platform holders, because if that's the case, then this is just a radically different Nintendo with a radically different idea, and it's a Nintendo that's swallowing its pride, which I think they should have done by just announcing that they're not doing hardware at all, or at least a handheld maybe, but not a console. It's what this sounds like to me is you can't judge it based on the rumors because we just don't know what it is. We don't know what's true and what's not. But what this sounds like compared to the rumors about Project Cafe, for instance, or Revolution or Dolphin is, I remember hearing about Dolphin and Revolution and Waggle and all this kind of stuff. It was kind of easy to wrap your head around. This sounds convoluted as hell. And if these rumors are true, man, like they need to simplify, and it sounds like they're not simplifying. Like to Greg's point, the idea or the rumor, and it's just conjecture, but the rumor that they're going to release the handheld component first and the console later is like one of the, if they fucking do that, that is the stupidest, that is stupid. Just wait, just don't release anything until it's all ready. And I still don't believe it's coming out this year, like any of it, but because it just seems so sudden.
All the rumors point to it though. I mean, that's the thing, like looking through a bunch of different sources, all the analysts, all the like rumor stuff, it all leads to this year.
It just seems sudden. I'll tell you why, because so PS4, for instance, was revealed in February of 2013 and it came out in November. So there was a 10-month gap or so, 9-month gap even. But Orbis was rumored for a long time before that, and we had specifics about Orbis. And you'll remember that I was one of the people that broke the story of the controller, through our sources or whatever, and the light bar and all that kind of stuff when I was at IGN. That story leaked, and no one thought it was real. And then I was the one that talked to some people and figured out that it was. So we had like in other words, if this thing's coming out, then everyone has it, and no one's saying anything about it. Like it's easy to get out of Ubisoft, like the Assassin's Creed game that's coming out in 2 years, but no one's talking about this hardware that they have. I do believe that people abide by their NDAs. I mean, obviously everyone does. I mean, people like PS4s and Xbox Ones as well, but people did leak a lot of information about that kind of stuff. And so I just wonder how proliferated the console really is and if it's really going to be ready to go in the fall. And I would rather Nintendo just take their time and do it right and burn a little bit of cash than just try to rush to market something that already seems like it's going to have a significant uphill battle against its competition anyway. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's super exciting because we're not going to get hardware from Microsoft or PlayStation for
quite a while.
I would
With
say
the
2019 or 2020. So it's cool to have like an interstitial console. But I will say that these consoles that come out in the middle of cycles,
the Dreamcast,
it doesn't work out. So
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely hoping. What's crazy to me is the fact that we're getting hardware, and this is something different. Like the fact that it is a handheld console hybrid. What the hell does that even mean? Like we've wrapped our head around, that's what it's going to be, and all that stuff, but I still can't fathom what that looks like in an actual real scenario where these games are coming out and stuff. Maybe the hardware is something where it is the NX app is the whole crux of the entire thing. And maybe there's no discs at all. And maybe it is totally you're playing on PlayStation or Xbox or PC or whatever it is. But then
you figure the thing would be like, and this is just in the weeds, totally crazy, it won't happen. But like what would make you buy the NX, right? If you're already playing the NX games or app or whatever you want to call it, right? And why is it 900 and not this? Maybe the hook and why we're talking about this handheld versus then the console coming later is the fact that the hook is the handheld, right? That you buy this machine and it's got the app dialed in if you have Wi-Fi and you can play all your Nintendo games there. And there's going to be a console component that's basically the receiver that puts it onto your TV at some point.
Yeah.
If you don't want to wait, if you right now you could buy this and have this portable device that goes anywhere with you, or you can play a selection of the games with these limitations on your Xbox, on your PlayStation to see if you like it or don't care. And then you get hooked into buying the thing, and then the console comes out and you are playing it that way off onto your big screen TV.
Yeah.
And that'd be why the resolution's dialed down, right? I don't think the
and
handheld's
so
gonna...
that's what I'm saying. Like that makes more sense to me in terms of like having the hybrid console thing of like just the system not being what we typically think of as a hardware console thing. It's going to be something different and new, or it's not, or it is just going to be the Wii U again. And then but instead of the gamepad being tethered, you can bring it other places. Like that would then be the only difference. And maybe there's apps and stuff places, and so you're right. Like they need to like make a big change and a big move to be able to actually do anything differently, or else it's just going to be the same weird experimental mistakes over and over.
Yeah, if the reliance is on other hardware, then I think they're making the right play. And if the reliance is on the other hardware, the most fascinating part about it is that Microsoft and Sony already know. And that's even more interesting. And what's even more interesting, even though the rumor says all the consoles, is that they just chose one of them. Now, like if I were them, that's exactly what I would have done. And I would have went with Microsoft if I were them, just simply because of the bad blood between them and Sony going back many years. So it's although that's perceived, who knows if they even get
right? Yeah, how many people are still in the organization that still hold?
Because Nintendo really did fuck Sony, and then Sony really did fuck Nintendo. So with their own device, basically,
everybody's fucking.
But it's interesting to think about the strategy behind NX in terms of Nintendo, and I've said this before, and I know it bothers some people, but Nintendo's audience is shrinking. It's demonstrable. It's obvious. And like the play has to be more than just another Nintendo console or it will fail. So, because Wii U was not enough. It was not enough to get anyone to care about it. And
some people cared.
But you know what he means. For it to be successful and financially viable.
We sold 103 million units or something like that. And the Wii U will be lucky to hit 12 million. There's something significant. 24. There's something significantly wrong with that situation. GameCube was considered. I loved GameCube, except for the NES. It might be my favorite Nintendo console, and that was considered a miserable failure. And it sold more than twice as many units as the Wii U. So they're trailing and tracking in the wrong direction. And the same thing's happening with 3DS. It's not as pronounced, but it's actually like DS Lite, DSi, 152 million units. 3DS, 50 million or so. So it's. They need to figure out how to make a big splash. And honestly, it seems like the strategy should have been and might be to just go with the other guys in some way that still lets you have this like proprietary Nintendo feel where you have to boot up this thing that's Nintendo, but it's on PS4 and it's on Xbox One. And these companies are so excited about the fact that they're going to get Nintendo games on the console. So just let them do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
And enable trophies and enable achievements and have Xbox Live and PSN functionality and all that kind of stuff. That's what I get most excited about, but that's just too good to be true because this is Nintendo,
that's right.
and they don't make choices like that. But it is a new Nintendo and a different Nintendo. Iwata really set in motion a different kind of feel with the mobile games and DNA and all these kinds of things. So I just want to see how this all shakes out. Like the more conjecture there is, the more frustrating it becomes.
As the thing to think about in the way we talk about it, right? Like, let's say the handheld console thing, that's real, and what we're talking about is real, and that's the hook to it, right? The app is going to be on this. You get to play them that way, great. But you can buy our this thing that's a handheld and will one day be a console, right? If that's the case, then theoretically, you don't have Nintendo's going to become their own developer, own publisher, like onto the other platforms, right? So that hardware doesn't necessarily have to be out in the wild in that many spots. Is Ubisoft really making a thing for the NX to get their game on? No, like, you know what I mean? This would be Nintendo's device to play Nintendo games or to play Nintendo games on their app, at which point the handheld/console is locked behind closed doors in Tokyo, and nobody is going to talk about it or do anything until it comes out, because you don't need to get it in the hands of developers.
If NX is a console or a hybrid of some sort, which it probably is, and there's no meaningful new game functionality on the other consoles, and it's for Nintendo games only, the thing's going to fail. I'm just saying that right now. No one's like, it's going to fail. It's going to be even worse than the Wii U. So like they can't do that. They just can't create a system to play just Nintendo games. They just did that, and it did not sell. Nothing on that console resonated with a large group of people. A lot of those games sold 1, 2, 3, 4 million copies. A game like Mario Kart seems to have like a 2 to 1 attach rate, which is huge. But predictably, it didn't really move units. Splatoon didn't really move units. Smash didn't really move units. It's the Nintendo fans are buying the Nintendo console, and there are fewer and fewer of them as you go along. So they need to figure out. I hope that's not true, because they might as well not even bother if that's the case.
But I mean, if they do that, then they get those millions plus all of the other shit from the other things. Then all of a sudden, like, maybe that's worth it. You know, like just getting old Nintendo games.
You figure
on
it's a Trojan
PlayStation
horse in a way, right? Nintendo makes Super Mario X or whatever, right, for NX, and it's awesome. You're playing it on your PS4 and you're having a great time. You're like, man, this is cool, and I'd love to play this on the road or that on the road, and da-da-da. And like, that's because that's the other thing is like the NX hardware. Let's say they're selling it by itself to begin with, and it's super cheap. It's $99.99, right, to have this controller device that is Wi-Fi enabled and uses the app and da-da-da-da. You put in you put in memory cards, but not like proprietary memory cards. You're putting in, regular memory storage, like SD cards that we're using.
I mean, that's all too good to be true.
Sure,
But I hope, and the only reason I even allow myself to go down that tunnel of believing is that when the NX was first announced, it was like Wii U, 3DS, and there was those like circles and all this stuff. Then NX was like a weird other thing. So it's like, it's clearly going to be different. It's not just a console, and it's not just a handheld, and it might not even be just a hybrid. Like, it's something new and something different, and it probably has to do with the cloud and all of this shit. So I don't know. I hope the thing I'm looking forward to most is E3 and seeing what they do there.
But now here's the question. Do you think there's going to still... So what about the event? Is there going to be an event, you think? Because that's what we've been predicting, and we are getting close to where that would have to be. I mean, PlayStation's event was in February. Xbox's was March, May? Okay, I remember it was
I think it was in May or April, maybe. It was a couple months after. I hope that they don't say anything till E3.
They just say we're back at E3. We'll see you at the conference.
Yeah. I don't agree with the need to show it and then let people marinate on it. It can't be that revolutionary. You just go to E3 and just show everyone what you have. I think that would be way more exciting and way cooler and like way more, just make a bigger splash. If everyone goes in and they really keep their mouths shut and no one knows what the hell's happening, I think that's fucking awesome at E3, as opposed to like, well, we know what NX is, now we see the games. Like, I think I have a pretty good idea what your games are. That's not what's as exciting as it's not what is as exciting as the initiative behind what they're doing. And if we go in and we don't even know what the fuck the console is, and is it a hybrid, is it a console, is it a handheld, is it a service? Like when you just have a bunch of questions and nothing leaks, that's more exciting.